Okay, well, I'm in Miami. I brought my car to the dealership for the maintenance, which is complimentary at the moment on this car. And it went a lot faster. There were a lot of people, so I shot a little bit in there, but not much. And then by the time I started exploring, the car was done already. So I'm thinking I'm going to go a little out west to get away from the hardcore traffic areas here. And which is pretty light right now because it's a Saturday, so but still. And there's a movie theater out here that's a pretty nice big movie theater, and that's one of the things about living in the Keys that I'm not, well, that I miss about living in the Keys as opposed to just about anywhere else is access to decent movie theaters. Now, the movie theater experience isn't necessarily the greatest anyway, and the one we have is fine. It's just one screen though, and so they're always trying to aim for the broadest appeal, which is usually like whatever the latest kids movie, or you know, like they're playing Thunderbutts or whatever it is right now, and they're limited on when they screen. You know, like they're not even open every day, so it can be tricky sometimes. You have to really like think ahead. You can't just impulsively be like, I want to go to the movies, like you can to some degree most other places. So I'm going to go see if there's something playing. I know I want to see Sinners. I'm not sure what else they might have playing, but I'm going to get out of downtown Miami, which I'm already basically out of, and I'm headed west right now. So we'll see. I'm near the Miami airport, so we'll see. And I'm hitting a little bit of traffic because of the airport for sure. So also a movie that was made locally to the Keys, in Marathon even, that I acted in and, you know, helped make basically, but mostly it was just me trying to act, which I'm not really an actor, but I guess technically I am if I've acted in a movie. If you want to check that out, it is on Amazon Prime as of today. So it'll be there whenever you look, unless something happens and it comes off of there. And it's called Marathon After Midnight. So look that up. There is a trailer, I think. I didn't watch it. I assume I'm in the trailer. But I'm in that movie. You know, if you do check it out, let me know what you think. I made it to the theater. This is what I'm like. Checked out, they have a bar in here. It's a Regal. Pretty good stuff there. Don't feel like drinking at the moment. But let's check Sinners out. Let's see how it is. Okay, Sinners. Watched it. My initial thought, without going into any details, I'm not going to right away because a lot of spoiler type territory in there, but it really came together in the end in a really good way. Like they landed that ending. They nailed the ending. They landed the plane, and I'm a sucker for anything that's got good music, especially guitar related music. Feels like well, I'll say a blend of like the whole deal with the devil thing, even though that's not exactly what's going on, with a well-known movie that if I name right now, it's too much of a spoiler. So, further thoughts in a moment. Back in the Keys, made a stop on my way back at Florida Keys Brewing Company. Got a Smuggler's Moon, which is I think it's an oatmeal stout that they have. That was right here. Cheers. But it's good. It's really good. So still thinking about Sinners here. It was hard to tell at first how seriously to take the movie, but by the end I feel like there's enough of a twist that at least gives you license to, I think, take the movie as fun, because there's a lot of fun elements to it if you're into horror and practical effects. But yeah, the way they get there is a little unique. There's one movie you can compare it to that would spoil what the twist is, which I'm sure that comparison's out there. There's definitely some nods to that in moments, and then otherwise it's got its own context for doing something very similar, but not the same at all, but very similar. There's a fair amount of people here. But I did end up really enjoying it, and I really enjoyed the ending. There were kind of multiple layers to the ending at first. I enjoyed what they did with it. There may be some plot hole. I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. I don't usually bother because, life has plot holes too. So I don't know. It's not the most important thing for me to have it all make sense. This is what does, really. And when it's too perfect, it doesn't feel real anymore. Although it can be enjoyable when something's really perfectly lined up. And they do a little of that at the end, but it firmly sits outside of the realm of reality anyway, so it just doesn't need to be perfect. But I would buy that. I would buy the like a Blu-ray, or I'd watch the movie again. They took a very specific, cultural point of view on and context for this, and it makes a lot of sense what they did. So, and then at the end, it just becomes more about being fun, and then there is like a kind of a family theme going on that. Not that it's a family movie at all, but there's a theme of family in there that even crops up at the very end again. So, I don't know, I enjoyed it. Maybe not as much as some people seem to, but it's definitely one of the better recent movies I've seen. I don't know. There hasn't been too much that's new lately that I've been very interested in. And this wasn't on my radar that much, except I saw a bunch of positive feedback in the horror community around it, so I'm glad I had the opportunity to go check it out.
On the wooden dock, so how they splinter, while we all get a little gray. Welcome to your tropical hibernation, living a life like a working man's vacation. Oh, you have no regrets when you have no expectation. Oh, no excuses. Oh, now use them as imagination.
Hands Beach. Let's see. There's the rules. Oh, do I have any more thoughts on Sinners? Okay, these will be the more spoilery ones in a moment. I'll walk into one of these pavilions and get a view. That's a nice view. It's like a windsurfer over there trying. Oh no, that's the what do they call that? Paragliding or para surfing? Trying to get yeah. Yeah. I think a big part of the reason Sinners worked for me is I'm into music, I play guitar. And that gets in takes a central position in the movie, music. And there's a number of songs, some I liked better than others, but they're mostly pretty well done. And it worked for the movie, I thought, to do it that way. There's like the, making a deal with the devil to be good at guitar, good at music. That's not in this movie really, but it's flirting with it, and it's in the same genre, if you will, or yeah, that would fit right into this. The Darkest Deal is what I think about. There was a couple of years ago a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights that used that as its storyline. So there's little tastes of that blended with, and this is going to be the more spoiler section, but it's blended with vampires. So if you took The Darkest Deal and blended it with From Dusk Till Dawn, you'd kind of have this movie to some degree, and then the way they choose to tell it just ends up working out. Oh, someone way out there by the... Wow. I think someone swam way out to the marker without any... Yeah, I don't see any... Oh boy. It's probably too far out, but... somewhere in there. I don't have enough zoom on this to show what I'm seeing. Anyway, let's keep walking. It's always been a very cool walkway here, and sometimes during the right time of day, there can be a lot of crab activity down here under the boardwalk, if that's what you want to call it. Or maybe when it's been raining, I'm not sure, but sometimes there's a bunch of crabs about. That often happens with rain. But I'm not sure if there's just a time of day. There's kind of two parking spots, one on either end of the walkway. So usually I just walk to the other end and back when I come here. But it's been it's been about like 6 years since I've been here, or 5 or 6 years in that realm. And here you can actually go down to the beach and go in the water if you want. like they are. Okay, there's the guy that was swimming way out there. Well, made it to shallow. I see, he walked that far and then jumped in the channel or something. Yikes. That may not be the best decision to make if you come here, but he's survived it, so that's positive. Oh, you can actually bring dogs here. I think they have to be leashed. There's rules, but that's good to know. So yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn is the most obvious reference or inspiration behind this movie, although it's not the only one, and it's not one-to-one, but the way it sort of changes genres. Like, there is a bit of a crime element, and then there's a vampire element. It's not the same as how that works in From Dusk Till Dawn, but it's also not that different either. And that's not a criticism. I wish more movies did that, and I'm excited. This one sounds like it's been received pretty well, so that's cool. Hopefully for good reasons. But there's no denying the movie's pretty good. Pretty well done. There's a couple spots. There were a couple spots where I just didn't quite believe the emotion in the moment. But because of the way the movie takes such a turn for the, turn for the vampire, like, that's a tonal shift that, it can be hard to survive. A movie From Dusk Till Dawn suffered from that a little bit, but I think over time people came around on that. But in that case, I think it's just the first half of the story was so strong, you wanted to see the rest of that story. Instead, it gets... So that's a cool view there. You can walk down the steps here. And that's going to be the end of this video, I believe. As I think I mentioned earlier, if I didn't cut it out, but if I did or didn't, a movie I helped make and acted in got released on Amazon Prime. It's called Marathon After Midnight. And this is like the third cut of the movie that I'll have seen. I've seen two other versions, and I know this one's sort of a blend between those two versions to some degree. Or it's got a couple things added back in that weren't in the more recent version. I don't know what else might have been pulled to put it in there, but I'm going to watch that. I'm going to review the movie I worked on. And it's a pretty local, homegrown movie, so expectations in their appropriate places. And it's the first time I ever attempted acting in a movie for real. And you could argue this wasn't for real. But you do it, you do it. There's part of it that's for real, no matter how you want to look at that. And I'll leave you with this rest of this beautiful walk. So expect a video about that in the near future, and whatever else. I still have other things that I've even shot bits of that I haven't done, but I do like this walk and talk thing better than sitting in a room. It's also more active. Plus, then you can shoot this stuff wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, and you can have whatever as the background to it. So I think that's okay. That's fun. I will be at the end of the month in North Carolina, so I'm sure I'll shoot some stuff there. I mean, at least I intend to. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I will be busy, but I can bring this camera for at least some of what we're doing on that trip. Yeah, that is very nice looking out here.